What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. My name is Zach, and we're back for some more F1 reactions. And I'll tell you what, I got a string of a lot of longer F1 reactions coming up here on the channel. I'm talking right now, this video, The Hilarious Guide to 2000's F1 by Dan No Skill. I'm talking some Rocket Power Mohawk. I'm talking some Rick's F1. And there's about 2 or 3 other channels that we're kind of throwing into the rotation here as well. So if you like our F1 reaction content, if you're excited, and if you just like the F1 in general, this is a place that you're going to want to subscribe to because we got a lot of videos on the way. But let's go ahead, kick it off here. Hilarious Guide 2001, or sorry, to 2000's F1. All right.
Engines. 911 Prime Jensen, the first driver to.
Okay, I'm just gonna restart real quick because I missed the beginning part, and we're already going off a cliff. What's with F1 community and just taking things to the extreme?
Loud
I don't get it.
V10 engines. 911 Prime Jensen, the first driver to press the DRS button.
That's a long middle name.
God, the 2000s was such a great time. I mean, 4-year-old me remembers Crashgate clear as day. I was so fuming on that day, I probably ate a Lego brick. Okay, so maybe my memory of the 2000s is pretty weak, considering I wasn't even born for some of it. And my F1 knowledge at the time didn't expand much further than being absolutely convinced that this little line on the F1 logo was called the hair. Seriously though, what the fuck was that part of the logo meant to be? I mean, I get the 1 is in the middle of the F and the hair, but what is it? Is it meant to be fast lines, or is it literally just a hairbrush? Anyway, what I can do, thanks to the time machine that I definitely own, and the internet that lets me look up things from the past, what I can do is summarize in around 15 to 20 minutes of me yapping all of
the 30-minute video is so factual, man. When you start recording and doing anything, and you're like, okay, we're going to set this goal 10 minutes. We do live stream sometimes. It'll be, all right, look, we're going to make a 30-minute live stream. That's it. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours. We're like, what the hell happened?
About the 2000s. Whether you already know a lot about it and just want a quick refresher in a funny way, or whether you actually want to learn something, in which case you may be in the wrong place. So let's take a look at the huge changes that defined the decade and how it led to modern Formula One. And what better place to start than probably one of the most memorable aspects of the 2000s, Ferrari's total dominance of the early years.
Do you know many Ferraris?
There we go.
No. They race on the European circuit. I'm in the Piston Cup. What?
Luigi follow only the Ferraris.
Between the year 2000 and 2004, Michael Schumacher and Ferrari won everything. There's no better way to put it. It's easy to look back at the stats and look at the length of the domination and just think, wow, Ferrari must have had it so easy during this era. You know, something similar to Verstappen last year in 2023, where he absolutely dominated a season. But honestly, that wasn't the case the entire time. For example, in the year 2000, there was a lot of pressure on Ferrari to perform. In 1998, Hakkinen had beat off Michael... No, I can't use the word beat off. Hakkinen had taken the championship over Michael Schumacher. Then in 1999, Michael Schumacher entered Skate 3 Hall of Meat mode and shattered his legs into a million pieces. So it was up to number 2 driver Eddie Irvine this time to put up the best title fight he could, although his chances were pretty much scuppered by the time he had a 50-hour-long pit stop. Thank you, Ferrari. Poor strategy.
That goes back to all the memes about Ferrari's pit stops and how bad they used to be, or how bad they still are. But this year they've been doing good. I think they're number 1 right now, like overall on average, right? I think they're number 1. I think they have the fastest time, or maybe someone just beat it like last weekend or something like that.
Since 1999.
Das Auto.
So going into 2000, Ferrari was starting to get concerned. I mean, there's only so much the managers are going to put up with when the results aren't being delivered. They'd hired on Michael Schumacher in 1996 and hadn't received the results they wanted since that time. Especially considering going into that, they built the whole team around Schumacher, so they expected him to perform. In 2000, the battle was fierce between Hakkinen and Schumacher, with the penultimate round being where Michael actually managed to take the championship finally for the Ferrari team, and that would secure his 3rd World Drivers' Championship and his first for Ferrari. Italians all over the world that day drank wine, partied, and told people they were eating food wrong because they invented it. F you Italians, I love Ferrari, but
hey, low key though, Okay. True. Fuck y'all. That's
I
crazy.
am putting garlic mayo on my pizza. Thank you very much. 2000 also wasn't without its controversy.
Right, I'm dipping it in ranch too. Yeah, you gonna tell me no different.
As during the Italian Grand Prix that year, we suffered the death of a marshal. A bit of a reminder that despite the racing being close and really fun to watch, it still wasn't of the safety standard we would expect. As heading into the second chicane at Monza, Frentzen collided with an Arrows car, his wheel came loose, and it struck one of the marshals who was standing at his post, which killed him instantly. So of course, after something like this, F1 had to review its safety standards as it's just unacceptable to be happening. So let's see what happened moving into 2001. In terms of the title...
It's just too much, you know what I mean? Just a little too much. I don't think it's necessary.
Fight, it wasn't really that spectacular, nothing as exciting as 2000. Mika Hakkinen had a pretty poor year, finishing quite far off teammate David Coulthard, who was the closest rival Michael Schumacher had, but the McLarens couldn't really match the Ferraris this season. In 2001, the Twin Towers said bye-bye to everybody, so at the Italian...
That's like 4 Twin Tower jokes in 4 minutes. He's averaging 1 a minute. I mean, at this point, you might as well go all in, and I better get 36.
Grand Prix that year,
36-minute long video.
Made. A race which, incidentally, Williams would go on to win with Juan Pablo Montoya. And at that time, former IndyCar driver who'd moved to F1 with actually quite a lot of promise. So just remember that name for a little bit later on. And now let's also talk about my main man, Fernando Goat Alonso. There he is. What do you have to say, Fernando?
Ia beber slowly poisoning you with carbon monoxide.
What the fuck? Now, in 2001, this goat right here, he made his F1 debut. And he was driving for a team called Minardi, which, if you don't know, were absolutely awful. I mean,
I've never heard of them, so that makes sense that they're awful. How long did Minardi participate in F1?
Seriously, you'd be better off putting a pedal bike on the grid and trying to race the other teams. They were just atrocious. Alonso's best results were to finish 2 laps down from everybody else, as his worst results were just the car blowing up before the end of the race, which happened quite a lot. Now, every time, though, I go to talk about Fernando Alonso's rookie season, I'm reminded of this weird conspiracy that I found out. Basically, if you go to F1.com, they have a list of every single race result ever with all the teams, all the drivers that took part in the championship. Sounds simple enough. But if we go back to the race results of 2001, Alonso, his teammate, and Minardi are not listed on the drivers' or constructors' standings. I mean, if you look at the races, they're there. They're listed as finished. Minardi, Alonso, everything is normal there, but I have no idea why they aren't on the constructors or drivers standings. I mean, as far as I know, they weren't disqualified that season, but even
It's gotta be some crazy shit. You know, it just doesn't make sense. You know, I don't know. Aliens, anybody?
even if they were, F1 tends to still leave you listed. For example,
Or what is it? That whole like thing, like with the Fruit of the Loom t-shirts or whatever that doesn't have the cornucopia on it. I think I said that right. Like, is it one of them things? They're trying to convince us that it didn't happen.
Michael Schumacher in 19.
Sidetrack. There was a cornucopia. I don't give a damn. I feel like half of those things that people say didn't exist, but we believe it did. Somebody's doing something. We're all in a simulation, bro. We're all getting tested on something.
1997 or McLaren in 2007, which we'll get to. It still lists them on the standings. If you do actually know the reason as to why this might be, please put it down in the comments because I'm really curious. Otherwise, I'll just send my ass over to the Joe Rogan podcast. Anyway, Alonso performed pretty well that season considering he was in a go-kart. So for 2002, he was given the Renault reserve seat in preparation to move him up to the main team. Oh yeah, in 2001, we also had another marshal death. Oh wait, that's not really a good thing, is it? Yeah, this time a wheel flew off Jacques Villeneuve's BAR car and struck a marshal during the Australian Grand Prix. 2 deaths in 2 years, honestly, even at that time was completely unacceptable for Formula One. F1 actually started to crack down on the wheels being able to fall off the cars in a crash. And that's why after these incidents, even to this day, you'll see whenever an F1 car crashes, there always has to be something keeping that wheel attached, as they are one of the most dangerous parts.
it's interesting. I guess I never realized that until he said it just then. Yeah, you don't really see the wheels just flying off, going anywhere crazy. I mean, a lone wheel flying down is definitely scary. There ain't nothing you gonna do about it. You ain't gonna get out the way of it. It hits you, you done. I mean, that's even on the regular roadways where they're not going as fast as what they are here, and their tires aren't as big. So
parts of the F1 car that can go flying off. Anyway, moving into 2002, I
mean, what exactly is it? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted by little things at the moment. This video might be longer than I expected, but is it just like a wiring that's like keeps it connected? Like they just have some type of wire connected to it in order for it to not fall off? Does anybody know?
Michael Schumacher had an absolutely incredible run of form. Honestly, this season was so strong from him, it rivals Max Verstappen's 2023 year. He became the first and currently only driver to ever finish on the podium in every single race of a season during 2002, which means he got to drink an awful lot of champagne. I bet Kimi Raikkonen was jealous. That year, though, Williams were definitely the second best car behind Ferrari, with Juan Pablo Montoya third in the standings behind the two Ferrari drivers, and Michael's brother Ralf Schumacher in fourth. Then McLaren followed in the constructors with the third best car.
There had to be an awkward like Christmas and Thanksgiving, and well, that's just American holiday. But y'all get what I'm saying. That had to be awkward. Your older brother always just one-upping you.
Although on paper, they probably had the fastest, if not the second fastest car over the whole season. It's just the problem McLaren had was that their car exploded every 2 seconds, especially in the hands of Mika Häkkinen's replacement, Kimi Raikkonen, who does at this point sound like the Aldi knockoff version of Mika Häkkinen. Trust me, it's just because they're both Finnish, but they are both big personalities in the sport and very different.
Kimi, what happened?
I spun.
But Raikkonen drove the absolute balls off the car, which meant that by the end of the race, the balls had actually fallen off the car and it wouldn't finish.
Oh, goodness. Because isn't Kimi Raikkonen, like, that's the good Kimi that everybody talks about, right? That he was a really good driver?
With Raikkonen and Juan Pablo Montoya, both a little bit hotheads at the time, being so close on track, it gave us amazing radio messages, such as this one.
Fucking Raikkonen! What a fucking idiot!
Which was when F1, I think, realized they probably shouldn't broadcast the radios live. Moving into next...
That was like I'm sorry, I keep pausing. That was one thing that like kind of cracked me up a bit, that there's full-blown compilations of these team radio calls. Like I want to do another one soon. I need to find one. If any of y'all have any funny team radio compilations that I can check out, either comment below or in our Discord. We have a react recommendation portion on the channel. Go put it there. I want to see some more of those. But yeah, it's so funny. You can hear them all mic'd up and stuff, and it's yeah. I mean, I love they call it mic'd up or wired or whatever for the NBA and NFL, and those are always hilarious to listen to. But they always try to like watch what they say when they know they're mic'd up, because not everybody is. With the F1, they got the recordings for everyone, and they're just putting them all out there, not knowing what the hell they were going to say.
Year, though,
and then now you got this year where they're like making rules to like get rid of like cursing and all that stuff. They're trying to like get rid of it and getting people in trouble for cursing in a high intense situation. I don't agree with that.
2003 was an incredible season I still wasn't born for. You had a three-way title fight between the defending world champion Michael Schumacher, the man who says so little his tongue might as well have been cut off, Kimi Raikkonen, and the Colombian hothead, likely sampling his country's biggest export, Juan Pablo Montoya. This season, though, also saw the maiden win of Goat Lonzo himself. Well done, Fernando. What do you remember about 2003?
Accidentally crashed the F1 car into a nursing home but don't tell anyone.
Alonso had replaced Jenson Button at Renault, as Button was fired for being too much of an eccentric playboy, which is definitely not how he would be described now. He's probably now thought of as one of the most chill drivers on the grid. Or in fact, actually no, he's Danica Patrick's worst enemy.
Long run down here into turn one. Obviously, this is fast section here.
Right, so let's talk about
I thought that's how I felt. Everybody was telling me I need to do like a live stream during some of the F1 and stuff. And typically when I do live streams for sporting events, I try to do some type of like commentary and everything like that. But since I'm so like green when it comes to just racing in general, I really didn't have much to add. I'm more just like mimicking the placement and everything. And I felt so clueless so many times. I'm hoping next time that I do the F1, which is playing to beat the Italian GP, that I might be able to find someone to come join me for the live stream that knows a little bit to help kind of work me through some of those rough parts. But if not, we'll just watch it and just enjoy it and have some fun anyway.
About who the championship challengers were. Firstly, we're starting with Montoya, who, despite a good start to this,
what's the thing with the mule? Is it a drug mule thing? Is that what they're hinting at? That he's a drug, he does drugs
season, and definitely had an extremely fast car under him, managed to make so many mistakes, he put himself out of contention
very wide. Oh, whoa!
Early on. Montoya really is just me trying to do the F1 game with no flashbacks enabled.
It's Michael Schumacher!
What the fuck was that?
So anyway, with Juan Pablo crashing out of contention, let's talk about our two other drivers. Defending champ Schumacher and drunk Finn Kimi Räikkönen. McLaren this season had a car very much close to Ferrari on pace, with it really just coming down to circuit-specific setups to decide who had the best pace. Kimi again suffered from his reliability though, although much less than in 2002, taking just 3 DNFs this year. And can I just remind you, 3 almost definitely felt like a blessing in comparison to the 2002 season, where he finished just 6 races and DNF'd in 11 of them. At that point, you might as well stop turning up to the races and just go eat ice cream on your yacht. Oh, he actually did do that after his engine blew up. Anyway, in comparison, Schumacher...
Oh, I think I've seen that. I don't remember what video it was. It was recent though. We did one and they talked about it. He just said F it and just left and went. And didn't he get like heavily fined or something like that for leaving afterwards? That's funny.
Suffered just
don't give
one
a damn.
DNF, which was during the chaos of the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix.
No! Fuck!
And if you would like me to summarize that race, here is Fernando Alonso trying to drive.
Certainly. So, Martin, I have to interrupt you because the Jordan team are bouncing up and down in the pit lane. We're looking at the images there of that incident of Alonso.
Genuinely, at the time, that was a really scary crash, though, for the drivers. And it was a bit of a chaotic race. The race...
Why wouldn't it be scary now? I mean, the dude, what? Why wouldn't that be scary? I'm confused.
Win was actually given to Kimi Räikkönen, but we then found out that was the wrong person to give the win to. And the actual winner was Giancarlo Fisichella. Due to a timing error, the FIA had got it wrong. So Räikkönen had to give Fisichella the trophy back at the next race. It's pretty funny. Anyway, despite Schumacher's pretty poor finish in the
just cruel torture at that point.
last race of the season, he managed to finish just ahead of Räikkönen by 2 points in the standings.
I don't know, we got second place again. It's not very nice to finish second almost every time, but we were just not quick enough this year to win the title, and at least we didn't lose for bad driver.
If Kimi Räikkönen was capable of showing any emotion whatsoever, he probably would have done this face. But knowing him, he likely got drunk and collapsed on someone's shoes.
Well, he wasn't drinking in a bar, but he was in Monaco and he was standing in a bar. And then somebody collapsed, drunk, on his feet.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah.
2004! What an excellent year, because yours truly, Dan No Skill, was finally alive and breathing in this
there we
world.
go.
But also, for
Hey, happy 21st birthday. I don't think it matters. Doesn't sound like he's from America, but, you know, whatever.
Ferrari, this was a brilliant year, because let me tell you something about Italian engineering. I am convinced that they're probably so drunk on red wine all of the time, the Italians don't really know.
I mean, like, realistically, can you blame them? Like, if I had the ability just to drink red wine every day whenever I wanted to, and good red wine at that, you don't think I would? Like, I like beer. Beer's my go-to, but man, red wine? Woo, especially the good stuff.
Oh, how to build a Formula 1 car. They probably just throw shit at the wall and hope it goes fast. Going into 2004, Ferrari began work on the F2004, which was going to be their car to compete with for the season. They were expecting maybe a couple seconds at most, or a few tenths, on their 2003 designers. It wasn't a big regulation change. So when the engineers saw the first lap of the F2004, they checked that their stopwatches were working properly. because of how fast it was. The F2004 was, in fact, that fast. And to this day, it still holds some of the speed records within Formula One, which shows just how incredible of a car it really was.
So that's interesting to me just as a whole for, for F1 and driving. Like, I'm assuming they've tried to, but like, figure out what made that vehicle so fast and to advance it instead of digress it. Like, how does that whole situation work? Is it because of like regulations and stuff like that constantly changing through the years for F1? But we're talking about a whole 20 years later now, 21 years later now, and it's still holding records. So is it, the mixture of the driver and the vehicle, or is that vehicle just nasty? And why can't they replicate, I guess, is the question I'm trying to ask. Why can't they replicate a vehicle like this to be able to reach those speeds?
The end of 2004, Ferrari looked unstoppable. But as always, the French were about to come in and ruin everything. Well, at least if you were a Ferrari fan. Fernando Alonso, Lord Alonso himself, 2005 was the year of Alonso. And of course, the French outfit of Renault. We're used to seeing Fernando as the oldest rookie on the grid. But during this point in his career, Alonso was genuinely seen as the young man in Formula One. In fact, in 2005, he became the youngest Formula One world champion ever at that point. It's now Sebastian Vettel who holds that title, with Lewis Hamilton in second and Alonso in third. But at the time, Alonso was very, very young for a world champion, evidently. His main rival for 2005 was, of course, McLaren's Kimi Raikkonen, who many during this period saw as the best driver on the grid, or at least the quickest. Probably how a lot of us imagine Charles Leclerc now. Extremely quick over a race and one lap, but maybe just doesn't have the look or the car under him to be a world champion yet.
I am stupid.
Kimi did manage to overtake Alonso this season, just sadly for him whilst Alonso was going for a run.
Look, they are running.
It's Alonso, isn't it?
They don't get cars from Renault, do they?
Damn.
But he couldn't overtake him in the standings. Many would argue that Raikkonen had a lot of bad luck during this period. Well, although when they do tell you these stats, they heavily weight it on that 2002 season, which I'll admit was god-awful. But at the end of the day, Renault did just seem to have the better car, and Alonso drove extremely well that season. The biggest shock was honestly Ferrari. Michael Schumacher was definitely best of the rest if you exclude Renault and McLaren. He was about 7 F2004s away from actually being able to touch the World Championship trophy. And after
I don't know why, I love how he literally is using a he's literally using a picture that he's not allowed to use. It still has the little stamps over it. I forget, watermarks.
2004s away from actually being able to touch the World Championship trophy. And after the last 5 years of utter dominance, it was hard for a lot of people to believe that Ferrari had gone this far down. Truly, the Italians would have to eat so much spaghetti to overcome their pain this time. But could Michael Schumacher bounce back to please the Tifosi in 2006? Well, it's Michael Schumacher. Of course he could. In 2006,
well, look, what we're going to do here, we're going to make this a 2-part series just because we're already about 25-ish minutes in, and I don't want to make this an hour-long video. If y'all are interested in seeing part 2, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. There's going to be a part 2. I'm going to keep reacting, and we'll throw it in on the next one, probably coming the following week. But let me know what y'all thought so far throughout the 2000s. What is y'all's best memory of 2000s F1, and go subscribe to Dan No Skill, man. I'm gonna go hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna have his link down below in the description. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys, love you guys, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Cheers.